welcome to our Los Angeles English School YouTube channel. My name is Helen and I'm head teacher here at Los Angeles English School, and today we're going to talk about past simple. So it's a very easy topic. Basically, it's for those who are probably elementary and pre-intermediate level learners. Oh, let me sit a little bit further. Yeah, so for those who are not advanced, but everyone is welcome. And today we're going to take a look at past simple with regular verbs. So regular verbs means verbs that work according to the rule. So, but before we start, I want to remind you, don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't done this yet, and also click the bell icon if you'd like to get notified of all our upcoming lessons. Alright guys, as I said before, we're going to talk about past simple. Yeah, so here you can see different time markers that are used to talk about the past simple. And the first one and the most common one is yesterday. So usually when we have some specific point of time in the past, we need to use past simple. So for example, yesterday or last week, you can see that when you use the word last, then you can use the period of time that you need. For example, last week or last month or last year or last time. And we also don't need any prepositions here. So you don't say in, on, nothing. So last week, last month, last year, last time. Also, you can use the word ago. For example, 1 hour ago, or 1 minute ago, or 2 years ago, 1 week ago, and so on. So, and when we have some specific year, we would use in. For example, in 2000 or in 1999, in 2020. And so on. So these are the time markers that you can use when you are talking about something and you are using past simple. Alright guys, now let's take a look at how to make past simple. If you're now with me live, make sure that you leave your comments in the chat box and communicate with me. Alright, so how to make regular verbs in past simple, how to use them. So if we have a regular verb, and also how to understand if the verb is regular or irregular. So there are irregular verbs, and usually there is a list of them, and they are divided into 3 columns. Of course, it's very hard to remember just by looking at the list. Usually you have to use some special techniques, and I'll share them with you a little bit later. But today we will take a look at regular verbs. So, for example, we have the word walk. Walk. So walk is a regular verb. And what happens with it? In the positive sentence, you will say, for example, I walked. So if it's a regular verb, you would add ending ed. Walked. So I walked in the park let's say yesterday. So you just take a verb and add ending ed to this verb. I walked in the park yesterday. And I have good news that for all persons, you would say walked. He walked, she walked, it walked, they walked, doesn't matter. So very easy, very simple. So if you want to make the negative sentence, you would say, I didn't walk in the park. So, and also the contraction of did not is didn't, and normally this T sound is pronounced as a stop T. So you put your tongue to pronounce this T sound, but you don't release it. So didn't. I didn't walk in the park. I didn't walk in the park. So, and again, for all persons, you would say didn't. He didn't, she didn't, and so on. So how to make a question? If you have yes or no question, you would just use did at the very beginning. So you would say, did you walk in the park? Did you walk in the park? And the same for all persons. Did she walk in the park? Did they walk in the park? And so on. If you have a question with a question word, you would put this question word at the very beginning of the sentence. So you would say, for example, where did you walk? Where did you walk? Where did she walk? Where did he walk? And so on. So as you see, it's pretty simple. So I think this is one of the most easiest tenses in English. All right, so this is how you make past simple with regular verbs. But if you noticed here in this sentence, for example, I say, I walked in the park. I add ed ending, but I say walked. I don't say walked. So how to pronounce this ed ending? Now we will look at it. All right, guys, so now we're going to practice a bit, and this is going to be a little quiz for you. So we can pronounce ending ed in 3 different ways. We can pronounce it as t, as d, and as id sounds. So very simple as well. We have 2 sounds here, t and d. So t is unvoiced or voiceless. D is voiced. For example, we have such pairs as p, b, t, d, k, g. So, and this is the same thing, yeah? So what happens here, if you have a verb that finishes in an unvoiced consonant, you would pronounce this unvoiced as t. For example, walk. So we had this verb in a sentence. For example, you have the word walk. When you add ending ed here, so walk, so k is voiceless or unvoiced. That is why you would pronounce it with an unvoiced consonant, which is t, walked, walked. All right, so what happens with d? For example, we have the word love. Love finishes in a voiced consonant, which is a V. So when you add D here, by the way, you add only the D letter because this verb finishes in E. That is why it will be just D. So, and you will pronounce it as loved, loved, because V is voiced. And so we need a voiced consonant. And when do we pronounce id? So basically we pronounce id if we have a verb that finishes either in t or d sounds. For example, we have the verb need. Need finishes into d sound, which is one of them, yet t or d. That is why when we add ed, we will pronounce it as needed, id, needed. Or, for example, we have a verb visit. So this verb finishes into t sound. That is why we add ed and we pronounce it as visited, visited. Yeah, pretty simple, but there is one more little thing that I haven't told you. When we have, for example, the word that finishes in a vowel, we will pronounce it as d. I mean, we will pronounce the ending ed as d. For example, we have the word play. And when you add ed, you would say played. D. All right, so guys, we pronounce t, ed as t after unvoiced consonants. We pronounce ending ed as d after voiced consonants and after vowels. And we pronounce id after t and d. All right, so now let's practice a little bit. I will give you some words and I want you to think where to put them in column number 1, 2, or 3, all right? So let's go for it. And make sure that you answer my questions, okay? All right, so what do you think? How will you pronounce the word cook? Cook. Is it t, d, or id when you add ed ending? Yeah, I can see correct answers. Exactly. Yeah, Lolly, that's correct. So you will put it here. Cook. And this will be cooked. Cooked. Because k is unvoiced, so you need to pronounce t, which is also unvoiced. All right, so how will you pronounce start? Start. So when you add ed, what happens? So guys, make sure that you are talking to me and you are writing your answers. Yeah, I can see correct answers exactly. Yes, so this would be here. I forgot the word that I said. Start. Start. Started. Because start finishes into t, and that is why it will be started. So how will you pronounce the word laugh with ed ending? So we have laugh, is unvoiced, so you will pronounce it as laughed. Exactly, I can see correct answers. Great, guys. Yeah, so this would be laughed. How will you pronounce the word listen? Listen. So listen N is a voiced consonant. That is why you will pronounce it as listened. 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 All right, how do you pronounce the word want? Want. With ed. Yeah, Lolly, exactly. So it's going to be here. Wanted. Wanted. By the way, when we have this cluster N and T, and they come together, and then we have a vowel, so we can eliminate t sound, t sound, and we can say wanted, wanted. So this T actually is optional. You can say it as wanted, but normally it will be wanted, wanted, wanted. All right, how do you pronounce watch? Watch. So we have watch. Ch. Ch is a voiceless consonant or unvoiced consonant. That is why ed will be pronounced as an unvoiced sound, which is t. Watched. 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 All right, guys, so I hope that you did well and you understood the differences. So one more time, we can pronounce the ending ed in 3 different ways. T after unvoiced consonants: walked, cooked, laughed, watched. And d after voiced consonants and after vowels: loved, played, listened. And we can pronounce these ending as id after t and d. Needed, visited, started, wanted, or wanted. All right, so guys, let's practice a little bit more. All right, guys, so now we're going to do the following. All right, so here you can see some questions, but these questions are incorrect, so they are not done, actually. So what you need to do is you have some prompt words, and I want you to put the words in the correct order and to add also some necessary words and to make questions using past simple. So take a look at this first question and make it correct. So type the question number 1, please. Yeah, and I can see Lolly typed exactly. Did you watch the news yesterday? So did you watch the news yesterday? All right, so guys, did you watch the news yesterday? Can you please answer the question using past simple? If you're watching a replay, you also can think about the answer, and if it's possible, try to say it out loud. So guys, I didn't watch the news yesterday. Normally, I don't have time for this. I try to watch the news Yesterday I didn't. So I didn't watch the news. All right, let's go to question number 2. So we have some words here. Let's make a question using past simple. Can you type this question, please? And the question will be, did you check your Facebook profile in the morning? So guys, did you check your Facebook profile in the morning? I personally didn't check my Facebook profile in the morning. I try and check it every day, but today in the morning I didn't. All right, so let's move on to some more questions. So I have some answers. No, I did not. Okay. All right, so let's go to some more questions. So question number 3, can you make this question using past simple? All right, so here we go. The answer, who did you call yesterday? So guys, who did you call yesterday? I, for example, called my parents yesterday, but I Skyped my parents. By the way, you can make this question in a little bit different way. Who knows the other option? What do you think, guys? How can you make this question differently? So you can say also, who called you? Who called you yesterday? By the way, here we don't need the auxiliary verb did. Why? Because if we have a question word, usually it's who or what, and this question word functions as a subject. So this who is a subject itself. And if it is so, you don't need any auxiliary verb. So you would just put the verb in the past simple. So who called you? All right, so I don't remember actually who called me, but I remember that I called my parents. Oops. All right, so guys, how will you make the question number 4? Try to make question number 4. Yeah, so you would say, how did you start your day? How did you start your day? Guys, I really want to know how you started your day. So how did you start your day today? Can you please type your answers? So what did you do? So while you are typing your answers, yeah, I have the first answer. Lolly had breakfast. Great. So I started my day with a shower and breakfast also. So you can say I started my day with something, with a coffee, with breakfast, with a shower, and so on. All right, so let's take a look at some more questions. And let's practice past simple a little bit more. All right, so number 5, you visit anybody last weekend. So make question number 5. And the question will be, all right, so you can check yourselves. Did you visit anybody last weekend? So guys, did you visit anybody last weekend? So unfortunately, I didn't visit anybody last weekend, but I managed to go for a walk with my husband, but we didn't visit anybody. By the way, you can also make this question in a little bit different way. What do you think? How else can you make this question? So you also can say, did anybody visit you last weekend? Did anybody visit you last weekend? Or who did you visit? It's also possible, okay? Or you can say, as I said, who visited you last weekend? Or did anybody visit you last weekend? All right, so and number 6, how will you make this question? And the answer will be, did you walk anywhere last weekend? So, did you walk anywhere last weekend? Did you walk anywhere last weekend? Last weekend, I walked in the park near the river. And we have here the answer, yes, I did. All right, guys, and the final question here that we have, it's this one. So here you can see again some words. And put the words in the correct order. Maybe you need to add something else to make a question in the past simple. Don't forget that you need to type your answer in the chat box. All right, so and the question here is, what did you want to do last weekend. But you didn't do. So what did you want to do last weekend? By the way, you can ask this question as what did you want to do? What did you want to do last weekend, but you didn't do? I'm totally wrong. No, it's fine. What did you do or not do last weekend? Yeah, Lolly, it's also possible. No worries. So, what did you want to do last weekend, but you didn't do? So, guys, we're going to finish today and it's gonna be your homework. So answer this question in the comments below the video. What did you want to do last weekend but you didn't do? So maybe you had lots of plans but you didn't have the opportunity to do everything. Alright, so I will be waiting for your answers in the comments below the video. Alright guys, so we're going to finish for today. Thank you very much for joining me. Again, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon, of course, if you'd like to get notified of all our upcoming lessons. Also, you can visit our website, losangeles.englishschool.com, and check it out. Alright, thank you very much again for being with me today, and I wish you have a fantastic day, and I hope to see you in my next lesson. Bye, guys!